welcome to Game 3 of the Medium Games Finals between Kubu and Koehni868686.
Well done. Yeah, almost a must-win game here for Kubu down 0-2. It is first to 3.5, but certainly don't want to fall behind 3-0. You get to start here, which is nice. Yeah, it was just interesting kingdom here. Lots of fun stuff to do, although we're going to be somewhat village limited, it looks like.
Yeah.
Thinking Diplomat's probably going to be a pretty key card here, as that's really your only way to get. I guess there's the Pixie boon, but that's really your only way to get plus action here besides that.
And I guess you got to play with Goons, so it activates it.
Yeah.
I played Negative, another German player, in Medium Games 1 finals. I later played them in the D-League finals run by Assemble Me, and I took an early 3-0 lead, and then they beat me 4-3. So it has happened before. I have lost 4 in a row to lose a first to 3.5. A tough way to lose a game for sure. We can also play with Outpost Diplomat stuff. The problem is, you just run into this problem with gear doesn't work at all if you're trying to do Diplomat stuff.
Right, because you've got cards set aside for the next turn. Your hand size is too big.
Don't buy Road Network and then your opponent plays Goons on you and then buys an estate just to mess with your hand size. Citygate can be quite helpful, I think, with some of that stuff. I think on this split for Kubu, I would buy Citygate on turn 1 to get the goat back around quicker.
Yeah.
And maybe you see it turn 2, and if not, you see it turn 3 for sure. Gear is just a really nice card to open with always. But yeah, the build here is not at all. I mean, I think you just spam Pixies for a while, hope to get some good boons. On a 5, I think you just buy an Outpost. Somewhat sad, but Outpost is a good.
What else would you get here?
Outpost is a good card, and what happens? You hit 2 in an Outpost turn, you buy a Pixie, and you're pretty happy, right? And then you start to get some Diplomats, and Diplomats are going to kick off your Outpost turn for sure, because you only are going to start with 3 cards. Maybe you play
set that up here though, is there? I guess you could gear or set aside just 1 card Diplomat if you've got your out. Well, no, you can't, because then you
have to have a village to play gear and Outpost in the same turn. It's tricky. I really just want a ton of Pixies and hope to get some good boons. And you get Earth's Gift, and then you here I would set aside 2 copper silver.
and Pixie.
And then buy Pixie, and then next turn we've got a real good shot of hitting 6 and buying a Goons.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know what Kubu seems like they're playing gear money. Which, first of all, I would say Pixies would help gear money for sure. But the gear money deck doesn't want any Diplomats, I don't think.
No.
And there's colonies.
Tough to pull off, on a colony board and with Goons. It's tough to pull off.
I mean, I guess you're getting thin with Platinum, and your deck's got a couple gears, 2 or 3 gears. I guess 2 gears with Goat thinning, and then 2 or 3 Platinums. You're going to be able to hit Province, I think, or Colony, I think, a bunch of times. But the Goons player can just get all the Pixies, and then get all the split pile, the Patricians, the Emporiums, and they're taking Outpost turns. I guess they're never activating their Diplomats, though, for Goons, if you're not ever playing an attack card. Except on Outpost turns. And I don't think you can, as you said, reliably set up an Outpost turn.
Yeah. Patrician's interesting. It just seems like Pixie's going to be significantly better.
I can't even imagine. It didn't even occur to me to click on Patrician until the Pixie pile's empty.
Yeah.
This was nice, though. Top decking the Diplomat. Oh, so that's at least a thing we can do with Citygate.
Oh, right.
We can top deck something And if we can draw a Diplomat in in the one hand, then we can top deck it for the Outpost turn always. If we're not drawing any other cards, which doesn't really work if we're spamming Pixies and Patricians and stuff. But this is a kingdom that makes me wish for Fool. If only we had Fool, this kingdom would be much more interesting.
Yeah, with the Lost in the Woods discard.
Yeah. Or Oasis, or, you know.
Yeah, something where you can decrease your hand size would be real nice.
Yeah, guys, I don't really want to play money either, but I don't know what we're doing. I mean, I think the player who gets 10 Pixies and 10 Emporias and like 20 VP along the way is going to end up with a better deck. I have belief that deck's going to score quite a bit, and then maybe that deck just transitions to now playing Platinum and Goons every other turn, but Silver, I really don't get it. Like, Pixie just seems better on every one of these buys than Earth's Gift can activate Diplomats, Field's Gift can activate Diplomats, activate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are all sorts of gifts.
Yeah, there's lots of great gifts in this kingdom for sure. Would you take an Outpost here as Kubu, or maybe like Pixie City Gate? City Gate seems really good on this kingdom.
They've got 2 gears, so I don't quite know what they're doing. If they didn't have the 2 gears, I would say take the Outpost, but they've added a lot of terminals.
They do have a lot of terminals. And do they have both gears on the bottom here?
I believe so, yeah. That order was wrong. I guess the order was fine. They could have played the Outpost first, but it doesn't matter. These silvers are just terrible. I don't know why we ever want to buy silvers here. And like Pixie is just pretty clearly the best card for the deck. I'm not understanding why they're getting Patricians over Pixies.
Yeah, and I don't know what you do on 5 here. City Gate, I guess that's fine. They can top deck on their next turn. I guess that you top deck a gear and
play Goons. Yeah, I mean, neither player seems inclined to buy Pixies here at all. So
I don't get that.
I just want 0 silvers in my deck, and maybe you have to get a silver early to spike Goons, and you kind of just have to live with that, you know. The Patrician drew, which was something.
I drew a nice card.
It's funny because the Patrician drawing can actually be bad for you in this kingdom if you're trying to control your hand size.
Yeah. Patricians. I guess they're trying to find the Emporia down there. Is that the thought?
Yeah, it just seems like you'll find them faster with. Yeah, so this to me is like just clearly double Pixie.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't touch Patricians until I had bought 10 Pixies. And then you're gonna get Field's Gift at some point, you're gonna get Forest's Gift, you're gonna get Earth's Gift. Wind's Gift could be useful in the right spot. Earth's Gift activates Diplomats. You can get Sky's Gift can activate Diplomats, although I probably wouldn't take Sky's Gift, but you know, if I like hadn't found my Goons yet or something and knew it was in the top, I might consider it.
I don't like these buys. I'm just not sure what you're doing with all these Diplomats and.
Yeah, hopefully they take the Pixies now that the Patricians are empty.
Hey, there's a Pixie. I guess here is Kubu. You can top deck a Diplomat for your Outpost turn.
Yeah, that's nice. And I think you buy an Emporium? Somewhat sadly.
Lots of Diplomats.
Yeah, I mean, if you could somehow get these turns to work like this is going to be the best turn they played this game.
Yeah, if you can get the turns to line up like this on your Outpost, that's great. I just don't know how you can reliably do that.
Yeah, hopefully they don't get a false sense of accomplishment here. and think that they can like afford another Goons. Um,
You just set aside one card here and hope you get Goons attacked. If I don't know, I mean, you kind of want to think about setting up your next turn if you happen to find a diplomat, right?
yeah, I would have set aside one because I want to buy. I want to set aside enough to buy Emporium plus Pixie.
Yeah. Surely you buy Emporium here. You get the 2 VP now with all the cards and
Yeah, and
action cards.
I mean,
Right.
I think the game's going to 3-pile on Emporiums, Pixies, and Diplomats at this point. Not really what I would have expected, but at that point, you sort of accept that Kingdom's going weird. It's a weird kingdom. I don't think playing that Patrician there is good at all. I mean, it ends up being fine, but like you really want to control your hand size, and so you want to play the Patricians later on in the turn if you can. Well, this is nice. We can discard 3 coppers.
Yeah, but by playing that now, your diplomat will not activate, right? No, it will.
It will.
Right?
Yeah.
You discard one more. I was thinking you discard down to a 4-card hand, but it's
So this is just. I think that's just Emporium. I don't think their deck can support another Goons. I still have dreams of.
line up perfectly to
Yeah.
a couple of diplomats that activate. And,
I have dreams of reliably drawing deck. So no need to take Flame's Gift. You can trash a copper, buy a Pixie,
yeah.
and you trashed a card. You gained a Pixie. You cycled through some junk. And if that silver was a Pixie, we could have done more here. Who knows what this turn could have been? Oof, a gear. What is the gear doing for us?
Yeah, it's a little puzzling, isn't it?
Once you've played one diplomat, right? Once you've played one diplomat, then gear can help set up more diplomats. But you're giving up the next turn, right?
Yeah. Take this?
I am surely taking it, yeah. The money, if nothing else. If we gear one diplomat, we can... Right, we want to gear one diplomat, right?
Yeah. Oh, do they have one more down there? Ooh, yeah, I really wanted to put a diplomat into my outpost turn.
I guess though that diplomat is then drawing you're removing a copper silver from the top of the deck, so your outpost turn would have been diplomat copper silver, which is maybe not as good a start as just a clean 5 cards.
Double Emporium here.
Yeah, double Emporium makes sense.
They do diplomat Goons. Interesting.
Yeah, so we reached this point where Iraz is saying Kubu's deck is filled with terminals, and essentially they're going to dud any turn that you don't play a Goons. So how much is it worth to you to play a Goons?
This outpost turn sure worked out.
Yeah. You just have to start with one of your 4 diplomats. I mean, they've got 4 diplomats now, so... They've also got any number of stop cards. So this should be double Emporium. Wow. Okay. Now I totally agree. Iris. Just don't play your Goons anymore as Koehni and say, look, you can have... You're gonna dud. You're gonna dud on your main turn every turn for the rest of the game. And then you got to get lucky on your outpost turn to find something. It's just really tough to play that way. Like, you want to play your cards, you want to do the thing your deck does, right? You don't want to get in a weird...
Your turns.
You don't want to get in a weird stalemate. They both have taken too many Goons and not enough Pixies. And too many gears, too many... Like, if they take all the Pixies, honestly, I think the game state is similar because the Pixies are so good that it would have accelerated both decks to the point where both decks would be further along. But I think, like, especially like you roll Forest's Gift with a Goons in play, and all of a sudden you're buying 4 Pixies in a turn. And that's worth 4 VP compared to the Emporium, which is worth 2 VP, and then you build there. But we're just saying we didn't get the Outpost in play.
And they discarded it to the attack so that they could have 3 Diplomats, which I don't think the math works out there. Well, obviously it didn't work out there where they're going to have enough actions to play.
Yeah, and now they don't get an Outpost in play, and Koehni is going to kick off here.
Yeah. Both players are kind of in this interesting dance, right, where Goons is a pretty significantly good attack.
This is why I said, like, Kubu bought the 3rd Goons. They're like, my deck is great. I need more Goons, more payload. It's like, you have to recognize sometimes this is an above average turn that your deck can support by a lot. And don't, like, just because you drew deck this turn doesn't mean that you're reliably likely to draw deck every turn.
I take the Sin's Gift.
Yeah, because you can top deck Outpost, right? Guarantee you draw an Outpost here, which seems good.
Yeah, that's. I think that's why I want to take it, is so you can discard everything and find your Outpost.
Well, we can just discard the silver and then see what's there.
The Outpost on top? And then the disc.
Ooh, we take this for sure.
Yeah, sure. Especially since you're going to play 2 Goons.
Maybe they calculated they have enough draw to get to the end. The Patrician should draw the... If they have a Patrician down there, it should draw the Outpost as the last card of the deck.
Okay.
So I can play Diplomat now, and then Patrician should draw an Outpost.
Yeah, you're right.
They can play the gear. I don't know that they're going to do anything with it. Yeah, they should not set anything aside, I guess.
1 copy, maybe.
Yeah, I kind of want to buy 4 Pixies here, so they have enough to do that if they set aside 1 copper. They have enough to do that if they set aside 2 things as well, but they're not going to... They can get 5 Pixies here. If they hadn't set aside the silver. 5 Pixies.
Yeah, 5 Pixies is definitely the play with 2 Goons in play, and I mean the Pixies are just great anyway.
Yeah, we still have not seen Earth's Gift, which can do stuff. Yeah, so setting aside 2 cards is very bad because their Diplomats are guaranteed to not kick off next turn. You never want to set aside 2 cards in your Outpost turn. I mean, never is a strong word, but in general here, setting aside 1 is usually good. And obviously, if you could set aside a Diplomat, you would. But
right.
I hope they don't buy Diplomat Emporium.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. 1 Diplomat left. I'm thinking, boy, they might be tempted to take that last Diplomat. Of course, Emporium scores, so they might go that route. But yeah, I think it's just 4 Pixies. I mean, 5 would have been better, but...
So 4 Pixies scores 8. 2 Emporiums scores 8. I find it difficult to believe that 2 Emporium is better for your deck than 4 Pixies. Or 5, as they should have if they don't.
If they don't set aside that.
This is the case where IRL, you just grab the silver out of the gear and be like, hey, I didn't want to set this aside and play it, put it into play. And in the client, you've got to do an undo and go back
I don't know,
5, 6 steps.
I guess you really haven't got any more information since playing the gear, but that's going back pretty far. That's a kind of a sketchy undo, I think.
There's no info whatsoever, other than counting how much money you had in play.
Yeah, there's the Emporium. Here comes the Diplomat.
Yep. So yeah, I still think 5 Pixies was
for sure.
Was great. So here, yeah, right. So if we didn't set aside 2 treasures, we would have a 4-card hand, and this Diplomat would draw and gain actions. And now it's basically a dead turn here. I think they maybe don't want to... Well, I don't know. I guess you get a 5th action in play. You can buy an Emporium now. But I would be very worried about Kubu piling on their turn.
Would you at this point? Are there enough buys?
I guess Koehni got the Forest's Gift, right?
Yeah.
So Kubu would have to get 3 Goons into play, get 3 Pixies, and then roll some nice boons. You know, they can get 4 Pixies, and then it maybe is a little tough without some good boons. But this is best case scenario for what this deck can do.
If you can alternate these Diplomats and Goons, that works out pretty well, doesn't it?
Yeah. We can even throw the Outpost in there.
Yeah, you might as well play the Outpost now so you don't don't forget about it.
Okay, so here I think we want to gear set aside a Diplomat.
Yes, for sure.
We don't take that.
Yeah, I don't think it's doing much for you, is it?
It can actually be actively bad.
Yeah, you don't want to draw extra cards with.
Yeah, so gear sets aside a Diplomat. We buy 4 Pixies, I think. That's worth 12 VP.
Yeah, that's certainly better than 2 Emporia.
And then it puts us in a position to get a good Pixie boon next turn and pile out.
Goons. Are you kidding me?
It's a lot of Goons.
That's a lot of Goons. Guess again, if they can do this Diplomat Goons every other play thing, you could.
It seems really tight to get to work.
Look at it work, though. Wow.
Well, that's a keep.
Yeah, you don't need that, obviously. It worked. And they are close to piling. They just...
Yep, and we can even set aside a Diplomat, which is perfect.
Wow. That's impressive how that worked.
I mean, the current deck state, this should work, I think, most of the time. It's just how we got here. I think... Right, if you draw 3 Goons together or something early on in the turn, it just breaks, right?
Yeah, it seems pretty fragile to me.
I think by the time you get to this, it was very fragile early on. And I think now it's not as fragile because...
You don't have any coins, and you've got these 2 treasure cards is all you have left in your deck, so...
Yeah.
I guess.
So this could be Emporium and 3 Pixies. I am not worried about Koehni getting an FVP. They've only got 2 Goons.
Will they take 1 copper or 2? 2 coppers.
I see no reason for them to have bought coppers there. That to me is that you got to stop and count for... I mean, I probably would have stopped and counted for a minute there as to whether I needed to take the coppers. And yeah. I think I would have decided I didn't need to. But... yeah, I mean, if Kubu draws 2 more Diplomats, they can if the top 2 cards of their deck are Diplomats or non-Goons, right? They have real problems. Or Gears. I guess Gear they can save the current turn at the cost of the next turn.
Which is fine at this point. You just need to find 2 Goons and...
Yeah, so here we can set aside... I don't even know. I don't know what a winning line is. They've only got 3 buys. You take a Goons and a Pixie, maybe? Goons and 2 Pixies, and hope to spike really good Pixie boons.
Yeah, these Patricians, if they hit, yeah, by them not drawing, as Iris points out. Yeah, these Patricians are... yeah, they got all 5 of them, didn't they? If these Patricians hit for Koehni, they ruin the Diplomat draw.
Essentially, these Patricians are a nothing for the deck, right? They're nothing to minor negative. In small cases, they were minor positives. But, imagine if that was 5 Pixies. They would have had so many more plus buys, plus gains, plus whatever it is they needed to have.
Guess they're going for it here.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. You got to go for it, and you hope to somehow get Forest Gift, Earth's Gift, something, and somehow get everything into play. Okay.
Long shot, but I guess
They set aside. They did it again. They set aside two. They set aside 2 cards.
Yeah.
So there's just unless they see a Pixie and get Earth's Gift, they've got a dud here. Yeah, it's tough. This is a kingdom that requires some mental discipline. Like you have to normally you set aside the 2 things. Although setting aside the goat is weird, but they're just going to fancy resign here, and Kubu is back on the board. Still down 1-2, but
We got a match.
we will see how it goes in game 4.